Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. Now, thought I'd do this video because I'm in a bad mood at the moment. So, the other day, I got this message from somebody on YouTube, and I'll read it out. And it said, a good man would have said he's got 7 children. Why different your stepchild with the rest of your children? Now, this boils that to another channel that I do videos on, which is Happening News. And it was to do with a guy that got sentenced to 34 years for a shooting on Tottenham High Street. So it's a drive-by shooting. He was a gangster. Drive-by, I think it was like a pub or a restaurant or something. Okay, fired 4 shots in, hit 3 opposition gangsters, and hit a 9-year-old little girl who was in there having an ice cream, I guess with grandparents or parents or friends, whatever. Okay, took the bullet to the head, and the bullets lodged into the brain, and he got sentenced to 34 years in jail. Nobody died, and I got a bit irate about it. I got really, we'll say ticked off, or put it politely, I got ticked off over this one. And I even spoke to a detective at the Met Police about this maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, because we were talking about it. You know, he actually phoned me up about something else. And I basically said, and I said, because I got so irate about it, you know, and I said, a lot of the problem is probably because I've got 7 children, and these were my words. I said, I've got 7 children, 6 of them are biologically mine, 1 of them's my stepchild. And the guy basically had a dig at me saying, why are you picking out the stepchild separately to your biological children? I never really thought anything of it. It was just an off-the-cuff comment. So I thought, right, let's go and speak to my wife, because she used to be married to somebody else, and she was a step parent. And she said to me that she always used to call them all her actual children. I thought, shit, now I'm in grief. How am I going to get out of this one? So I thought I'll do this video today because, as a general rule, I don't have any problem with my stepdaughter, Jamie Lee. You know, Jamie Lee, she is generally she's a lovely girl, okay? She's 24. She's married now. Got married last year, end of August last year. She had her first child, I think it was in July last year. And even though we've had our disputes, because I never came into her life until I think she was 13. She might have been 14. Okay. So even though we've had our issues, and she doesn't talk to me now, which is her choice, and it's completely her choice. You know, she doesn't have to speak to me. She can hate me as much as she likes at the end of the day. You know, I'm not, well, yeah, I do hold a grudge. It's not true. I do hold a grudge. But it's down to her. You know, if she doesn't want me to see her child, which she doesn't, that's down to her. You know, so like I said to my wife this morning, I said, well, I didn't say to her, I ranted at her because her child's 13 months old and I've never been introduced to him. Never held him. Never been asked to. And I went off my nut at my wife today. And to be honest, she didn't deserve it. And I guess I'll probably be sleeping in the kids' bedroom tonight, or I'll be sleeping on the sofa. Worst case scenario, I'll be sleeping in the garden where the badgers and foxes come in, because where I live, it's capital of the UK for badgers. So that's worst case scenario at the moment. But why did I do it? And the answer to the question is, I don't actually know. Because if I look at the demographic of all my children, okay, because if you went onto my personal TikTok or something, it would say father of 7 children. That's what it says. Okay. And when I say it's my personal, it's more my kids' one. It's just got videos of all my kids primarily. I think there's a couple with my wife in there. There may be 1 or 2 that I'm actually in, but as a general rule, there's nothing in there with me in. And what I generally say, because my stepdaughter Jamie Lee, she's 24. Then I've got a daughter with another woman who's 16. Now, I've never seen my daughter Amy Whittier. Okay, I've never seen her. Okay, so technically, I don't even want to even say this because it's going to sound awful. You know, to me, I wouldn't know if she's alive or deceased. I know when her birthday is. I know roughly where she lives. I don't actually know where she lives because I've never seen her. Mainly because I had a kind of dispute with her mother before she was born because I made a stupid remark. And I've never been allowed to see her. And it's not because I did anything illegal. I just didn't want to go down the court road because I thought everything could be done civilly, you know. It's a case of how wrong can you be at the end of the day. It's like living my father's life all over again, you know, where you upset a mother. She doesn't like it. She wants to go and move on and live her own life and find another man and doesn't want the father of that child to have anything to do with the child. And that's a classic case of what basically happened. And I've never seen my daughter. So she's 16 and she's in college now. Or I believe she's in college, last time I heard. And then I've got a 10-year-old son, a 9-year-old son, Irish twins, they're not twins, an 8-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old daughter with Down syndrome, and a 1-year-old son. So the 6 youngest ones are all biologically mine, or at least my wife says so. Try not to get in trouble for that, but no, there's no reason to believe they're not. But the eldest one is not. And as much as I've liked to consider her as mine at the end of the day, I think the classic example, and this is the thing that I can say, and I think it was on our wedding day, her grandfather speaks, because her grandfather gave her away. And her grandfather did the father of the bride speech. Now I did, but I didn't get asked to give her away. I never got asked by her. I got asked by her now husband about a year or so before they got married. And for any men that are actually watching this, okay, this is what she said to me, and I'll be surprised if any man on the planet would agree to this. So this is what I actually got asked, and in a way it's a way of asking me for me to say no. So what I got told, and I don't know how much truth's actually really in this, but her now husband came to me and said, what we want you to do is, her grandfather is going to go in the horse-drawn carriage from their house to the church, and then he's going to walk her into the church, and once she's been walked into the church, we want you to walk her down the aisle approximately 5 meters, and then her granddad, who as it happens can't really run as it is because he's got bad feet because of his diabetes, is going to run round you, take her off you, and walk her the rest of the way down the aisle. Okay, and then he's going to do Father of the Bride speech at the reception, and Father of the Bride dance at the reception. And I thought, you winding me up? Are you seriously taking the piss? I said that to him as well. He weren't too impressed. And I said to him, one of these days when you grow up and you have children of your own, you're going to understand why I'm going to say this. Because what you've just said to me, you're asking me that. One, so she doesn't look bad for me not being asked and me not giving her away. And two, you want me to say no. So I'm going to give you what you want. I'm not going to do that. And I said to him, I said, look, if she wants her to get her granddad to give her away, it's fine. It's no problem. I've got no problem with that. I've always known she wanted her granddad to give her away the day that she got married. But if she wants me to give her away, tell her to come and see me. No, she's never come and seen me, and she got married August last year. She's never spoken to me since. So, to me, that's a way of asking somebody to basically say no. But in my opinion, my stepdaughter, she has every right to ask who she wants. And I've got no problem with that as a general rule. But don't expect me to be happy, and don't expect it to be thrown back in your face. And the thing is, at the end of the day, when she did get married, and she probably knew what her grandfather was going to say in his speech, and this was the first line of his speech. And even though my wife likes to dispute that he said this, and he's admitted it to me since. It's actually the opening day of the fishing season, which was basically 16th of June. Is it 16th of June? Yeah, 16th of June. And we spoke about it. And the first line of his speech was, I've been asked to do this because Jamie Lee's father couldn't make it. Now, I was obviously there because I was with my wife. But her biological father was never invited. Wasn't invited. So the thing is, at the end of the day, she doesn't want to consider me as her father. So what's the problem with me saying she's not one of my kids? Because she's not. Well, no matter how much I want to say or refer to her as one of my kids, she's publicly made it clear they're her grandfather. I'm not her child. I mean, she's not my child at the end of the day. And whether people want to accept that and want to say, well, you're not really a real man for treating her differently, or saying she's something other and different to the rest of your children, then fine, I can live with that. You can say what you like. But when she wants to publicly make that crystal clear to me, and one, doesn't want me to have anything to do with her child, which my wife likes to say is my grandson. Can't really say that, whether she likes it or not, and she can blast me as much as she likes if she sees this video, anybody sees this video. And if they want to make these public statements, what do you expect me to say? You know, tell me, am I wrong? You know, if you're going to publicly blast me and say, I'm not your father, seriously, what do you expect? You know, because I'm a reasonable person. I'm probably too reasonable a lot of the time. You know, yes, I do hold a grudge. You know, I even held a grudge over her about not even having the decency to tell me she was going to ask somebody else to give her away. That really, really annoyed me and upset me. You know, I left her wedding early because of it, because I was so ticked off. And I walked home, which was probably about 3 miles from the ceremony, on my own. The irony was it's the first time I ever saw a badger as well. Literally run straight out in front of me. So let me know in the comments down below. Let me know, do you think I'm wrong? Or is it a case I'm just messed up in the head, I'm screwed up and I need to take more antidepressants, or I need to go and see a counsellor or something? You can go and say that, you know, I do take antidepressants, I refuse to see a counsellor. So let me know what you personally think. So let us know in the comments down below. But for now, thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.